Alright guys, now the log analytic workspace is installed. We need to go ahead and log into our Linux machine and install and configure the agent appropriately as per the documentation, right? And we need to send the firewall logs to this Linux machine to collect the syslogs. And after that, we're going to send that to the workspace. I'm going to go ahead and deploy Microsoft Sentinel. And the way to do that, you have to go to your resource group. Once we are in our resource group, I'm going to click on create. You'll be directed to the marketplace again. I'm just going to type in Sentinel. Microsoft Sentinel training and lab solution. I'm not looking for the lab part. Azure Sentinel. I think that's the one. So we click on that. I'm going to click on create. All right, connect workspace. Click on connect. Do you guys remember we created this log analytic workspace before? We are actually going to connect this Sentinel to this one. Without the workspace, it doesn't work, guys. Okay. I'm going to click on this one and add. Let's give it some time. While it's doing its thing, I'm actually going to the Linux machine to show you something. So you can actually go ahead and run a packet capture on the Linux machine and see all the syslogs that are coming from the firewall. That's good actually for troubleshooting and verification. TCP dump port 514. See? Perfect. These are all the firewall logs. And you can actually go ahead and have a look inside the logs as well. The syslogs are going to get stored in var log folder inside the Linux machine. So I'm going to go to that directory cd var log. If you type in ls/latr, list all the directories and files, you'll see this syslog here. As you can see, the file size is getting increased every few minutes. So I'm going to type in tail-5 syslog. It's going to show me the last 5 logs here in this file. See, Fortinet. It's in the CEF format, which is great news. The name of the firewall, the time, and the log itself. So I'm actually getting the logs on this Linux machine. So this part here, perfectly done. But still, I'm not too sure about the Linux machine sending the logs to the workspace using the agent, but we'll double check that later, right? But right now, let's go back to the Sentinel configuration. Okay, trial activated. Awesome. Perfect. And the good thing is about Sentinel, I'm not going to go inside the details, but they have this thing, I think it's called Content Hub, where some of the configuration are like the template. Like they have a specific alerts and log analytics and all of that, and data connectors by default pre-built inside Sentinel. So if you go to data connectors, it's actually going to show you what are the devices that are connected to the Sentinel so far. So let's wait for a few seconds. It's going to calculate the numbers for us. I think it's going to show us 1 or 2. Yep, syslog, and I think that's the Linux one. Log received 2 minutes ago. It's receiving some logs, which is good. Now we are inside the Sentinel portal. I'm going to go to Content Hub. Like I mentioned, it has a pre-built features about firewall, different vendors. I'm going to type in Fortinet in this case. I think we have something called Fortinet. Yeah, firewall connector. I'm going to go ahead and install this actually. Click install. Once it's installed, you can go ahead to your data connectors, okay? So we have 2 here, Fortinet and syslog, but as you can see, syslog is not Fortinet is not connected yet. That's a problem. But again, like I said, it will take some time for the Sentinel and Log Analytic Workspace to figure things out. I'm going to give it some time, let's say 20 minutes, half an hour, and come back to it and see if it's connected or not. If it's not connected, then we're going to troubleshoot together as well. I'm going to pause this video and see you in the next few minutes. As you can see, the Fortinet connector is not still in connected state, which is not good. I have to go ahead and troubleshoot. What I have done so far, as you remember, I installed the agent. We demonstrated that the firewall is sending the logs to this machine. We were able to see the logs. But I think the agent that we installed here, it's not working properly. And it's not sending the logs to the workspace. So what I did actually, I went ahead and deleted the whole agent. I just Googled how to delete and purge the agent on a Linux machine. Okay, and I did that actually. I ran the command that was here, mentioned here. I honestly went ahead and did that. It's all gone now. I received status code 0. I'm not sure if it's going to show it here, but if we go to our resources, okay, we will have a thing called in the workspace. Let me bring the workspace. I don't think the agent is connected now. I'm not sure, it's not updated yet, but again, I'm going to go with the instruction again to install the agent from scratch. Okay, the way you're going to do that, I'm going to go back to my Sentinel. I think it's in my dashboard. Yep. Sentinel, I'm going to go to data connector, Fortinet open connector page. It's going to give me actually the instruction how to do it. Install Ceph collector on Linux machine. I'm going to do that again. Okay. Let's wait a few minutes for it to get it done. What it does is actually going to install the agent again from scratch. Hopefully it will work this time. We'll see. I'm going to pause this video. Okay, the installation is successful. It's completed. Now let's move to the next part. Forward the Fortinet logs. We've already done that together, guys. There's no need to do it, but so it's actually giving us the command that it's going to run. So I'm going to go ahead and check the common security log schema. It's telling me to wait at least 20 minutes. If the logs are not received, run the following script. So I'm going to pause this video and wait for 20 minutes to see if I'm receiving the logs. Alright guys, as you can see, we are receiving the logs in the workspace right now. The only change that I made was to uninstall the agent, okay, completely from the Linux machine. And also on top of that, I actually used the instruction that was mentioned in the Sentinel part, right? So if you go back here to the connectors, if you click open connectors, I actually went ahead and did everything that was mentioned here, right? Installed the agent using the configuration and all of that. At the end, when I ran the verification command, it actually mentioned something that I hadn't installed in my machine, and that's policy core utils. I don't know what that is, honestly. I'm not a Linux expert. I actually went ahead and installed that package on the Linux machine. And after that, when I did that, I was able to see all the logs, and it's all good now from now on, right? Let's go back to the Sentinel. As you can see, I'm receiving messages from the Fortinet firewall, which is great. And right now it's showing connected. Great news. That's what I'm actually looking for. And if you go back to the logs, to the workspace, if I search in common security log, it's actually going to show me all the logs that are coming from the Fortinet firewall. And let's open one of them together. Device vendor Fortinet, product FortiGate. This is the version of the firewall, and the protocol, the port number, which port interface, destination port, destination IP. All the logs from the firewall is being sent here, which is great. Let's have a look.